Welcome back to ShotokuTech, Saturday Story Time, 12 December 2020 edition. Okay, let's get started. Here, the European Space Agency has signed a contract with this company called ClearSpace. It's a Swiss startup, and they intend to go into space and capture this payload adapter. Basically, it's an active piece of space debris. What's difficult about this is it doesn't have any control, so it might be tumbling. So it looks like they're going to go up there with a rocket that has a big claw and try to capture it and pull it back into the atmosphere and burn it up. JAXA, or Japan Space Agency, went on a bit of a walkabout this weekend in Woomera, South Australia. They were recovering their Hayabusa 2 robotic space probe. They launched this back in 2014 to collect samples of rock and soil from this asteroid named Ryugu. It's a carbon-rich rock, a bit more than a half-mile wide. I believe this is the first successful robotic sample return mission to land. All right, congratulations. Well, I'm sure you all saw Elon Musk fly SN8, the latest rendition of Starship, and it was amazing. But here Jeff Bezos is boasting that he's going to land the first woman on the moon after a successful test of this BE-7 engine that's going to be used on his proposed lunar lander. So this BE-7 engine has been tested multiple times at NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama. This time it was fired for about 20 seconds and brings up a total of hot fire run time of about 20 minutes. In addition to this lunar landing system, Blue Origin is also working on rockets. They have New Shepard, it's a suborbital system. It's a reusable rocket equipped to take 6 tourists into space at a time. Blue Origin has yet to fly the New Glenn rocket, which is designed to send payloads into orbit. And congrats to SpaceX, they've flown more than 100 missions and they're reusing their rockets. And of course they had Starship fly this week, which was pretty phenomenal. Make sure to find that on YouTube and check it out. These Alaskan islands may be part of a single massive volcano, a caldera. This is a set of islands that are south of Alaska. These Aleutian Islands are known as the Islands of the Four Mountains. Each of them has its own volcano, but they're arranged in a semicircular pattern that suggests they may be a series of connected vents along the edge of a much larger volcanic caldera. They didn't set out looking for this caldera. Originally, it was an archaeological expedition, but the geological survey resulted in this concept. The perplexing features kept cropping up that they only recently realized may belong to an enormous and ancient eruption. It doesn't present a new risk because they already have 4 volcanoes on these islands. Calderas are formed when a massive reservoir of magma suddenly empties and the underlying ground collapses, creating a vast depression in the Earth's surface, anywhere from 1 to 30 miles across. The formation of a caldera produces a host of fractures through which magma can then seep up to the surface. So volcanic clusters are common around their edges or centers. I don't know if beautiful and gelatinous go together, but scientists have discovered a new type of species of comb jelly, a jellyfish, Duobrachium sparksei. So they just captured this new species in high definition video. It dwells off the coast of Puerto Rico. They describe it as looking like a party balloon. I read another description by someone who said it looked like a transparent plucked space turkey. Back on January 28 of 2020, scientists using this Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope on Maui in Hawaii took this picture of this giant sunspot. It's 10,000 miles across. It's wide enough for the Earth to fit inside with a little room left. That's hot. We've talked in the past about this Gaia Observatory this European Space Agency's Gaia Observatory has just produced the most detailed 3D map ever of the Milky Way, and it includes nearly 2 billion stars. This Gaia data is a treasure trove for astronomers. It brings the total number of stars mapped over 7 years up to close to 2 billion. It's a detailed census of more than 300,000 stars in our cosmic neighborhood. I know we spoke previously about Gaia contributing temperature data for various stars when you're studying exoplanets. They're also studying motion, brightness, and measures that are order of magnitude more exact than the old information. The data is so precise, it's revealed that the sun's path isn't a straight line, but slightly curved. So Gaia's been staring in the heavens for the past 7 years. Several telescopes. They've created the most detailed billion-star 3D atlas ever assembled. This map helps astronomers make predictions envisioning the movements of 40,000 stars in 1.6 million years into the future. Voyager 1 and Voyager 2 have been flying in space for more than 40 years, and they're at the very edge of our solar system. And these physicists from the University of Iowa have reported the first detection of cosmic ray electrons accelerated by shock waves that originate from our sun's coronal mass ejections. So we can see the sun has a longer reach than we had first expected. These electron bursts are traveling at nearly the speed of light, 670 times faster than the shock waves that pushed them initially. The bursts were followed by plasma wave oscillations. These were caused by lower energy electrons arriving at the instruments on board the Voyager spacecraft days later. In some cases, the shock wave itself arrived as long as months after the burst. Shock waves recorded by the spacecraft originated from coronal mass ejections, large expulsions of hot gas and energy that come from the sun. These expulsions move outward from the sun at a speed of about 1 million miles per hour. Despite the incredible speed, it takes nearly a year for shock waves to reach the Voyager spacecraft. Voyager spacecraft are currently more than 14 billion miles from the sun. That's incredible. Given the state of things in 2020, I don't know if playing around with DNA on your cell phone is a good idea, but apparently this iPhone app, iGenomics, it's a DNA analyzer that you can carry in your pocket. You can even send your DNA sequences back and forth between other people running the app. Runs entirely on the iOS device, reducing the need for laptops or large equipment in the field. This app complements tiny DNA sequencing devices made by Oxford Nanopore. As these sequencers get smaller and smaller, there were no technologies that let you study that DNA on a mobile device. So this iGenomics software lets you do DNA sequencing in the field. 2 different teams of surveyors, one from China, one from Nepal, have reviewed the height of Mount Everest using GPS and trigonometry, and they've come to agree that Mount Everest is officially 8,848 meters tall, or 29,032 feet. That's taller than previously recorded measurements. The survey of India in 1954 included snow lying in the rock summit pyramid, and this was for a long time considered the official height. There was a Chinese measurement made in 2005 that wasn't quite 8,848. Earthquakes and tectonic plate movement might change the height of these giant mountains. Nepal is home to 7 of the world's 14 highest peaks. You may recall the terrible fires that raged through Australia in December of 2019 and January of 2020, and it was thought that this adorable pygmy possum was wiped out by the brush fires. But they found him again. Poor little feller. They look cute. So this tiny possum is smaller than your thumb, and it was found on an island that was ravaged by the 2019-2020 brush fires in southern Australia. They found it on Kangaroo Island. poor little feller. Somebody needs to tell the Russians when you put a cool audio system in your vehicle, you need to install a Boss alarm system as well. Somebody broke into the Russia's doomsday plane. This is the II-80 Max Dome. It's supposed to be an airborne command post in times of nuclear war. And of course, it's decked out with a bunch of fancy radio equipment. And somebody stole this equipment from the II-80 Max Dome. Oh, you need a good alarm system. A team of researchers from South Korea and the United States, they're looking to build this sodium-ion battery and finally unseat the position that lithium-ion batteries have in the electric battery hierarchy. So they've been mimicking the bones of mammals to come up with this spongy inner material with a harder, much more compact outer layer. These sodium-ion batteries offer a variety of advantages over lithium-ion, but they've struggled to develop effective sodium cathodes. This bone-inspired design solves the problem of cathode instability. Proxima Centauri is the closest star to our Sun, and it has a planet, Proxima b, which is 20 times closer to its star than the Earth is to the Sun. But it receives a similar amount of energy because Proxima Centauri is a cooler and smaller star. So they thought it was in this habitable Goldilocks zone, but they're finding that Proxima Centauri is having these coronal mass ejections that could be rapidly eroding away any chance of there being an atmosphere on Proxima b. So you can scratch Proxima b off your bucket list. Researchers are finding that honeybees can use animal dung to fend off murder hornets. Yeah, this is happening in Vietnam. The bees collect and apply spots of animal dung around hive entrances, and it actually deters the murder hornets. So they've been studying honeybees in Vietnam for decades. These murder hornets are the biggest wasps that threaten honeybees. The researchers have found that honeybees have developed this preemptive defense by collecting animal dung and applying it to hive entrances. It's a fairly remarkable trait. In essence, it's the first time we've seen bees actually use tools. Dung collection is a behavior that was never previously reported for honeybees. The hornets spend less than half as much time at entrances of these hives that have heavy dung spotting, and only 1/10 of the time chewing at the hive entrances. So they prefer the hive entrances that don't have this dung spotting. They're not sure what deters the hornets, whether they're repelled by the smell of the dung or the dung masks the odors emitted by the bees. If you're a fan of ShotokuTech Saturday Storytime, please check out Those Amazing Exoplanets. It's a ShotokuTech Best Of, and it covers all the stories about exoplanets that we've talked about over the last year. It's very interesting when you put them all together like that. Also, make sure to follow the link in the description down below to ShotokuTech's Saturday Storytime blogger page. There's an article for every episode of ShotokuTech Saturday Storytime, and it's fully searchable, so you can study on any topic of interest that you might find here. All right, thank you, and have a great week. Thank you for watching ShotokuTech. Please subscribe, comment, like, and share.